I just dropped off my date back here and now I'm heading home. This week I've got 2 methods for repairing pole barn columns that are pretty risky, 3 that are pretty good, and what the advantages and disadvantages are of each. So stay tuned. I'm not going to give her my phone number. She's a little too stiff for me. Hi, this is Paul from countrycraziness.com. If you're interested in tractors, post-frame construction, and homesteading, well, you've come to a good place. Why not subscribe, tap the bell, and join in on the conversation? So the first method that I think is kind of risky for repairing a rotted post is to scab a new post to the side of the one that you're trying to fix. When you do that, you're kind of defying the laws of nature that want to put the forces going straight down. When you put a lateral board on it like that, you're kind of relying on the bolts to transfer those forces over to the new one. The smart way to do it is to take your post and put it underneath the post that you're saving, and then bracket the 2 of them together. That way the downward pressures from Mother Nature are being respected. Now, if you're going to do that method, you might want to consider getting a perma column. Perma column's a concrete post that's reinforced with rebar, and it has the bracket mounted on top of it already. So once you remove the soil and you get the old post out, you just put the perma column in, bolt it on, and then backfill it with the dirt that you've already dug out. So I really like perma column for that type of scenario. Now the second thing that I wouldn't do that would be tempting to do is to take a column and use a bracket to attach it to a concrete floor that you might have in place. And as one of my friends in the industry pointed out to me, that can be a risky proposition, because it's only going to be probably a 4, 5, or 6 inch reinforced slab that has no footer underneath it. After all, when you build a post frame barn, the skirt boards really act as the form for the concrete and aren't a part of the concrete. It's kind of like pouring cake batter into a pan. So if you use a bracket against the post in order to fix it, all the weight from the roof trusses are going to be coming down through that post, and it's just that tiny slab of concrete that's going to be supporting it. Plus, you don't know what condition the substrate might be underneath that. So it's really not a good method if you're trying to do that type of repair. There are 2 methods that I think are pretty good for doing a concrete repair. The first one would be to use the sturdy wall bracket from Permacolumn, which is basically a bracket with the rebar underneath it. And the reason why I think that's a good fix is it's not only very strong, but you're going to have to destroy a pretty substantial amount of your concrete floor in order to be able to dig out the old column. And since you're going to have to do that and you're going to have to backfill with concrete, you already know that you're going to need concrete to repair that. You may as well have it for the floor also. So I like that bracket for that type of application. The other method that I like is the Savage Building Systems corrugated column that connects the old column to the bottom part of the column below the rot level. It basically just marries those 2 back together. And the real advantage is if you've got a concrete floor, you can saw cut a very small amount around that column, preserving your concrete floor, just enough so that they can drag that sleeve down through their machinery into the floor and marry the 2 columns back together again. I really like that method. You can also use the sleeves in dirt floor type of applications, and it works great too. The Savage system is really great. It's quick, it's relatively inexpensive. It's got 2 disadvantages. One, it may not be available in your service area. And number 2, it's not a project for a DIY type of person. This is specialized equipment, it's patented, you can't rent it. Those are the 3 things that I like. I like the columns, I like the brackets, and I like the sleeves. If it were me and I'm going to do a repair, I would do one of those 3 methods. And if you look at other companies like Morton Buildings and go on their website and look at how they do repairs, you'll see products like Permacolumn being used as those type of fixes. If you haven't already built a barn, the best thing to do is to prevent post-rot in the first place. If you haven't already watched this video, take a look. 5 ways to prevent post-rot.